Sir.
Lito na. Back Charlie, 2 p.m. is already 2:01. Let's already call the meeting to order. Do we have a quorum for this afternoon?
Yes, sir. We have four members for the quorum, sir.
All right, and you do the roll call, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this BAC Charlie meeting. Please acknowledge once your name is called to our presiding officer, Attorney Roberto Martin Benaventura, Lieutenant
Present.
Colonel Lieutenant Colonel Valentino Janela, Miss Amneris Gabriel, Miss Diana Ines Briñas,
Present online.
Miss Jocelyn Ching,
Present.
and our end user, Mr. Christian De La Cruz from the
Present.
ADMS.
Present online.
And we also have our end user from the ANS, Miss Rosemary Tan.
Present.
For
Good
the back,
afternoon.
the back tech, good afternoon, ma'am. For the back technical working group, we have Attorney Frank Edward Marty,
Present online.
Attorney John Bo Masiglat, Attorney Edelisa Irugin, Mr. Alfred Estura, Miss Engineer Lolita Hubay, Engineer Joferan Joseph Torrefranca, and Miss Maria Cristina Balonon. Sir, for the back secretariat, we have Dr. Rolly Bayaban, Irish Prashon, Mr. Sonny Villabert, our minutes taker for today's meeting, Miss Nina Cristal Ramasanta, and the other members of the back secretariat. Also present, sir, are our observers from the COA, IAS, ASFI, DOTR, and we also sent our invitation letters to the PCCI. That's all for the roll call, sir.
All right, thank you, for Attorney Irish. With that, let's proceed with the primary items of the agenda, please. So we have for this afternoon,
Sir.
several items for pre-bid conference, tama?
Yes, sir.
First one being the Antique Airport Development Project, amounting to 95,721,736 pesos and 6 centavos on ADMS DOTR downloaded project. Who will be presenting? Wait, do you have bidders for this?
Yes, sir. We have bidders waiting for on.
Sige, let's already admit them and let's have the presenters ready, please, for the presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon to our prospective bidders, sir, ma'am. Please type in your names in the chat box for for records purposes. And should you have any questions, you may raise them after the presentation. Just please introduce yourself and the company that you represent before asking your question. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, and to the members of the Bids and Awards Committee. Charlie, sir, can I proceed with the presentation, sir?
Go ahead, Attorney Frank.
Thank you, sir. Okay, to all our prospective bidders for the Antique Airport Development Project, welcome to the pre-bid conference. This is for the Antique Airport Development Project CY 2021, widening of runway markings, runway shoulder, grade correction, provision of stopway and RESA, and the provision of manhole and RCPC. So, before I proceed with the highlights of the bid documents, may I inform this is to inform our prospective bidders that the bid documents for this project are available at PhilJEP's website as well as CAAP website. So this presentation will highlight the some provisions of the bid documents, particularly on the ITBs and bid data sheet. So to proceed, for ITB Clause 1.0, this is the name of the project and the procuring entity, and this will be identified under contract bid number 21-02209 Charlie rebid. So the Antique Airport Development Project CY 2021 is a rebid project. So for ITB Clause 2.0, the funding source for this is a downloaded considering that this is a downloaded project from the DOTR, this will be the fund will be sourced from the GAA of 2021 in the amount of 95,721,536 pesos and 06 centavos. In ITB Clause 3.0, the the project requires a submission, particularly in the technical documents, as a certificate of site inspection, which can be found in Annex B, Form 1, and it should be signed by the acting airport manager of Antique Airport, Mr. Roel Avanzado, or his duly authorized representative. Together with the site inspection certification, the bidder shall also submit or attach the following as part of the compliance. So, company ID of the person who conducted the site inspection, copy of the airport or facility visitor's logbook with the entry name of the person who conducted the site inspection and a picture of the proposed site, together with the person who conducted the site inspection and the airport manager or his authorized representative. Please take note that bids not complying with these instructions shall be disqualified. So this is the illustration of the certificate of site inspection and the company ID and the logbook to be provided or to be included in the submission. So for ITB clause 5.2, um, for this particular project, a similar contract would mean concreting of roads and other horizontal structure. So anything of these major categories would be considered as a similar contract. In ITB Clause 7.1, subcontracting is not allowed. ITB Clause 10.1, a bidder shall submit all the eligibility and technical documents as specified in Section 10. So later on, towards the end of the presentation, we will be showing the list of items or list of documents to be submitted as part of the eligibility and technical documents, as well as the financial documents. For ITB Clause 10.3, valid pickup license or special pickup license is in case of joint venture. The requirement for the project is medium A category B, which is for horizontal works. That means this is for road, highway pavement, railways, airports, horizontal structures, and bridges. So again, non-complying submissions shall be disqualified. So for 10.4, ITB Clause 10.4, these are the minimum key personnel requirement for the project. We require project civil engineer, geodetic engineer, materials engineer, construction foreman, and safety and health officer. And these personnel should have a 5-year general experience in general engineering and should have at least 3 years in concreting of roads and other horizontal structures. ITB 10.5, ITB Clause 10.5, sorry. So, enumerated are the major equipment, minimum major equipment required for the project. So, in your screens right now are the items to be complied or the equipment to be complied with, and this will be verified during the post-qualification process. So, any missing item or missing equipment and any non-compliance with this requirement shall cause the disqualification of the bidder. So ITB Clause 11.1, the discount stated in the financial bid form shall be computer written, and it should be in the same size and font as of the whole form. So discounts that are either written, typewritten, or computer written in other font style and size shall not be considered. And bids not complying with these shall be also a ground for disqualification. In continuation with ITB Clause 11.1, the submitted bidding financial document, the second envelope, shall contain the original or duly signed accomplished financial bid form, bill of quantities, detailed breakdown of component of each item, detailed unit price analysis or detailed estimates, and summary sheets indicating the unit prices for materials, labors, and equipment, and cash flow by quarter. Please take note, we are again reminding our bidders, because we are very particular on this, that any modification and or alteration on the stated requirements in the financial document forms, such as the BOQ, detailed breakdown of component of each item, and in the detailed estimate shall not be allowed. So please do not make any alterations in the forms, standard forms of CAAP. And uh, bids not complying with these instructions shall be disqualified. So please take note of that specific provision. So in ITB clause 11.2, bid exceeding above the ABC shall be disqualified, of course. And in ITB clause 15.1, this is for the bid security. It may come in the form of bid securing declaration or in any of these. If it is in cash or cashier's manager's check, bank draft guarantee, and a revocable letter of credit, the amount should not be less than 2% of the ABC. And if the bidder opts to submit a surety bond, it should not be the amount should not be less than 5% of the ABC. So this is the acceptable bid security for this project. ITB clause 16.0, so each and every page of the submitted document shall be initialed or signed by the duly authorized representative of the bidder. So take note of that. It has to be paginated and with initials. The submitted eligibility, technical and financial documents shall be properly marked with index tabs and must be sequentially paginated in accurate order in a form of, for example, 3 of 100, 4 of 100. So the page number of the last page of the document per envelope basis. Pagination should be sequentially based on the entire span of the whole documents inside the envelopes. So the technical working group is very particular on this during the evaluation in the submitted documents during the opening. So please take note of these requirements under ITB clause 16.0, and any non-compliance with these instructions shall be disqualified. So here are sample illustrations for the pagination, tabbing, and it has to be initials, or it has to bear the initials or signature as well. So for ITB clause 16.0 again, as a continuation, so instead of submitting, we are no longer following the 10 envelope system. Instead, each bidder shall submit one original copy of the technical and one for the financial document. So, iisa na lang po ang pwedeng isa na lang po yung isasubmit na original at saka technical. No need for the copy 1, copy 2. So, it should be properly labeled as well. So, it has the labeling shall contain the name of the bidder, the name of the project, the name and address of the procuring entity as indicated in 10.1, and it shall also include a warning to not open before, which is the date of submission for the bids. So the deadline for submission is March 14, and the opening is also on March 14. The place of opening is at CAAP conference room. Under that is under ITB clause 18.0. In ITB clause 19.2, partial bid is not allowed. The infrastructure project is packaged in a single lot, and the lot shall not be divided into sublots for the purpose of bidding, evaluation, and contract award. In ITB clause 21.0, this is for the bidder who will be ascertained as the lowest calculated responsibility during the signing of the contract, the construction schedule, bar chart and S-curve, per CPM network diagram, manpower schedule, construction method, and equipment utilization. So these are the items, or these shown in your screen right now is a checklist of technical and financial documents. So it is categorized into two: the technical and component envelope, and the second envelope is the financial component envelope. So enumerated herein are the documents that has to be included in each envelope. Also, this list or this checklist is available or included in the bid documents for this project. So we will go now to the technical details of the project. The scope of work for this covers the supply of labor, materials, and equipment necessary for this project. So we will go into the details of this, but for the information of our prospective bidders, the plans and drawings as well as the detailed scope of work available po siya sa website. At the same time, you can also ask from our BAC Secretariat for these documents. SPL1 mobilization, demobilization, it would include the widening of runway, including runway shoulder grade correction. So sa P-101, removal of existing pavement, it covers an area of 731.08 square meters. For clearing and grubbing, the total area for this item is 42,900 square meters. Excavation, it is also included in the scope of work. The total volume for this is 17,028.96 cubic meters. Embankment, it would cover from station 0 plus 00 to station 1 plus 430. The next item would be for the aggregate base course. In your screen, right now are the details or the general description for this particular item. So for the aggregate base course, it covers a total volume of 4,290 cubic meters, excluding shrinkage factor. For item P501, Portland Cement Concrete Pavement, PCCP, this would cover an area of 21,450 square meters with a volume of 6,435 cubic meters. Runway markings, this is for the painting and repainting of the markings, and it should be using flat latex paint for 2 coatings with an area of 4,534.42 square meters. Provision of stopway and VESA, for this item, it would include clearing and grubbing, 93 in an area of with an area of 9,300 square meters. Excavation, embankment, and aggregate base course included for the rest items. So for the aggregate base course, the total volume is 2,591, including the shrinkage factor na po. So for item 2.08-5.1 aggregate base course, 180 cubic meters po yung requirement dito, including the shrinkage factor. So provision of manhole and RCPC. Sa site works, the area is 307.80 square meters. Civil structural works, this would include 180 manholes or reinforcement concrete pipe culvert. It has a total length of 1,050 linear meters. While the embankment works at the proposed RCPC would cover a total volume of 472.50 cubic meters. So aside from all the items included also are the provision of temporary facilities. These are staff house and service vehicle. So all scope of work for the project must be in accordance with the proposed plans and the specification specifications, quality and types of materials must be approved by CAAP project in charge. So, lastly, for the general provisions, the provisions for staff house, service vehicle, laptops, printers, cameras, plotters, furniture, and other materials, devices, and equipment under the special item or temporary facilities shall not include, shall not include OCM and contractor's profit. So the contractor shall be responsible in providing safety perimeter fence or security fences, personal protective equipment for staff and workers on site and construction while the construction is ongoing. Safety reports should be prepared regularly. The contractor as well is responsible for all the laboratory materials testing, building and safety permits, and the survey instruments necessary in the project implementation. These expenses shall be incorporated in the contractor's overhead cost and shall not be considered as pay item. So that's the end of our presentation. And for now, Mr. Chair, the technical working group, together with representatives from the ADMS, the project engineers, are now ready to entertain questions, clarifications in relation to the presentation or the project, Mr. Chair. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you for that presentation, EWG. At this juncture, we open the floor for any questions from our prospective bidders. Should you have questions, kindly state your name and the company you represent and proceed with your questions, please. And our TWG and end user are here to answer them. Do you have any questions?
Good afternoon po.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm Lilian Loa from Mega Construction, Durabuild Joint Venture. Opo. Hello po.
Yes, go ahead po with your
Go
question.
ahead, ma'am.
Okay. Nag-purchase na po ako kahapon ng document. Kaya lang po, yung USB ko po, ang nakalagay lang plans. Worry lang po ako, yung po bang nasa PDFs na downloadable, yun na po yung bago nating BOQ, sir.
Ma'am, if I may respond to that, Mr. Chair. Ma'am, the documents that were given to you po yesterday as included or in the USB, yun na po yung documents na gagamitin natin. Yun na po yung BOQ na gagamitin po for this project
Plans
po.
lang, oo po. Sir, plans lang yung nakalagdati kasi sir, nandito yung BOQ. So, downloadable.
Plans lang po.
Yes, opo. So, worry
Yes, ma'am.
lang po.
Kasi yung the rest of the documents,
Opo. Sige, sir.
go ahead, ma'am.
Sige po, sir. Nakikinig po ako.
Yeah, the rest of the documents, ma'am, available po siya, downloadable po siya sa website po natin, sa CAAP website, or sa PhilJeps po mismo, ma'am.
That was updated, sir.
Yes po, ma'am. Updated na po yun.
Pati yung presyo.
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you po. Yun lang po, sir. Kasi bumila ako, sabi ni ma'am kasi plans lang daw yung laman. Kaya nag-brought out po ako ngayon.
Yes po. Yung plans and drawings lang po yung nandun sa USB. Yung
Yes
the rest
po.
of the documents po, ma-download na po, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you po, sir.
You're welcome po. You're welcome po.
Good afternoon po, Errol Poblete from SM Castro. Hello po.
Go ahead po.
Ask ko lang po yung reason for rebid ng project po.
Attorney Sam?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, the project was declared, yung first bidding po was declared a failure of bidding. The Board of Directors of CAAP invoked the reservation clause considering that the project already exceeded the allowable or the maximum allowable period of procurement for this project since we opened this September pa. Yung first bidding po was opened last September and it was only presented to the board last February. So it was the board invoked the reservation clause, availed the reservation clause for uh, for these to be, for the first bidding to be declared as a failure of bidding, sir.
Okay po, thank you po.
Thank you, sir.
Pwede mo palitan.
Do you have any more questions, please? All right. If if you're preparing your questions, I just want to inform everyone. You have under the GPPB rules, if you're not able to raise your questions here, you still have the opportunity to put them in writing and send it to us, to our back secretariat, and we will answer them and issue the necessary bid bulletins as the need arises. So again, let me just ask everyone present: do you have any further questions? Okay, hearing none, let's already close this matter. We look forward to your submission of bids. Maraming salamat po for attending. And again, if you have further questions, you can still raise them through writing po. Thank you. Maraming salamat. Let's proceed, please.
The next project, Mr. Chair, is for the Mlang Airport Development Project. Secretariat, may we request, Mr. Chair, the bidders to be admitted for these projects, sir?
Sir, they're the same bidders as earlier, sir.
Okay. So, again, good afternoon to our prospective bidders, and we are now presenting the bid documents for the Mlang Airport Development Project as part of the pre-bid conference for this project. This is for the rehabilitation of the passenger terminal building, construction of powerhouse, construction of vehicular parking area, provision of concrete curbs, sidewalks, wheel stop and pavement markings at VPA, construction of 10,000 gallon steel water tank, construction of drainage system, and vehicular parking area and the construction of transformer yard. So, this project is identified under bid contract number 21-025-10 Charlie, rebid. So, the procuring entity, of course, is the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines. For the ITB clause 2.0, so the funding source is also from the DOTR, General Appropriation Act for 2021, under calendar year 2021, in the amount of 31,576,981 pesos and 54 centavos. For ITB Clause 3.0, Certificate of Site Inspection, the requirement is this has to be submitted in and part of the technical documents, and the site inspection has to be duly signed by Mr. Rex or Obsena or his duly authorized representative, and it shall include the company ID of the person who conducted the inspection, copy of the airport facility visitor's logbook with the entry name of the person who conducted the site inspection, and the picture of the proposed site together with the person who conducted the site inspection and the airport manager or officer in charge or his duly authorized representative. So, ito po yung illustrations lang po ng mga visitor's logbook, ID, at saka site inspection na kailangan po natin isama sa technical documents. For ITB Clause 5.2, the similar contract for this project shall refer to building construction, improvement, rehabilitation, and repair. So, any same category, same major categories of this kind of work shall be considered a similar contract for purposes of this project. So, under 7.1, subcontracting is not allowed. 10.1, the bidder has to submit all the eligibility and technical documents. So also the checklist for the eligibility and technical documents is included in the bid documents. So makikita po ninyo yung lahat ng mga checklist po doon. So under ITB 10.3, the PCAB license requirement for this is medium A category B for vertical works. This is for buildings and industrial plants. So non-complying submission shall be disqualified. For this naman, the minimum required experience, the minimum work experience for the key personnel, yung key personnel muna na requirements po for this project civil engineer, electrical engineer, master plumber, general electrician, construction foreman, safety and health officer. Ang required experience, 5 years in general engineering and 3 years in relevant relevant experience. ITB 10.5, here are the items, the equipment requirements for these projects. So, nasa screen nyo po, and kasama din po to sa documents. Kung mag-double check po kayo, makikita nyo rin po yung lahat ng mga items na to doon sa bid documents po. For ITB Clause 11.1, discounts in the financial bid form shall be computer written with the same font and size of the whole text of the said form. So discounts that are either handwritten, typewritten, and computer written, which is not in the form or font size of the whole text shall not be considered, and non-complying with these instructions shall be disqualified. So under 11.1, ITB Clause 11.1, so this is for the financial document envelope. So the bidder has to submit 6 items as indicated here, as flashed here. But what is important here is that we keep on stressing that any modification and or alteration in the stated requirements in the financial document forms, such as the BOQ, detailed breakdown of components of each items, and or DUPA, shall not be allowed. So again, any modification or alteration shall not be allowed. So applicable CAAP BAC standard forms include in the PBD shall be complied with in accordance with the prescribed forms under Section 9 bidding forms. So bids not complying with these instructions shall be disqualified. ITB Clause 11.2, bids exceeding the ABC shall be disqualified. And in 15.1, the bidders has the following options when it comes to bid security. The bidder may submit a bid securing declaration or a cashier's manager's check, bank draft guarantee, or irrevocable letter of credit, which the amount should not be less than 2% of the ABC, or it can be in the form of surety bond with an amount not less than 5% of the ABC. So for ITB Clause 16.0, pagination, each and every page has to be each and every page thereof has to be initialed, signed by the duly authorized representative. So the submitted eligibility, technical and financial documents shall be properly marked with index tabs and must be sequentially paginated in an accurate order in the form of 3 of 100, for example. Page number of the last page of the document on an envelope basis. Pagination should be sequentially based on the entire span of the whole documents, and any non-compliance with these instructions shall be a ground for disqualification. So these are the sample illustrations for the pagination, tabbings, and the required initial or signature. So again, in 16.0, it also provides that the bidder shall submit one original copy for the technical component and one for the financial eligibility documents. So we do not require copy one and copy two anymore. So one technical and one financial document. And these documents has to be properly labeled. It has to in the it must contain the name of the company, the name of the project, the procuring entity, and it shall also bear warning that it should not be open before the day of submission of bids. For ITB Clause 18.0, the please take note that the bid opening and the deadline for submission is on March 14, 2 p.m. And all bids shall be submitted at CAAP back office, and it will be open at CAAP conference room on said date. In ITB Clause 19.2, partial bid is not allowed. The infrastructure project is packaged in a single lot, and the lot shall not be divided into sublots for purposes of bidding, evaluation, and contract of award. ITB Clause 21.0, for if the bidder is determined or ascertained as the lowest calculated responsive bidder during the contract agreement, signing of contract agreement signing, it has to submit the following: construction schedule, bar chart and S-curve per TPM, manpower schedule, construction methods, equipment utilization schedule. So these are the items or the documents to be submitted, and which is part of the technical component and the financial component envelope. So again, you can check the checklist, or these checklists can be found also in the bid documents for the project. So the project technical details will be showing the site development plan for the Mlang Airport Development Project. This is a site development plan. This is a perspective of the rehabilitation of PTB. The floor plan. All these plans and drawings are available sa BAC Secretariat po namin. Pwede pong makahingi. Bibigyan po kayo ng USB, as this is a very large file. So the roof plan. So this is the construction of powerhouse. This is a perspective. The ground floor plan for the powerhouse, roof plan. I'm sorry. The elevations, and this is for the VPA. The details of this. And this is for the construction of 10,000 gallon steel water tank. The elevation, the foundation plan, construction of drainage system at VPA. So this is the layout. This is for the transformer yard, elevation plans, security fence. So for the scope of work, this project would cover the supply, labor, materials, and equipment. The equipment for this project. So the detailed scope of work are also included in the bid documents, but just to run down the requirements, the mobilization, demobilization, Um, it also includes rehabilitation of passenger terminal building under civil structural works. Sa site works po, yung total area for demolition is 93,000 square meters. Yung total volume for excavation is 54 cubic meter. The total volume for backfill is 35 cubic meter, and the total volume for the gravel bedding is 3 cubic meter. And this should be delivered on site. So under rehabilitation of PTB, it also includes concrete works, masonry works. For masonry works, the total area would include 193.81 square meters. For steelworks, it has a total area of 22,000. Total weight of steelworks 22,121 and 66 kilograms. Moisture. It also, yung sa rehabilitation of PTB would also include moisture and thermal protection works. For architectural works, sa tile works, the coverage would be 711.90 square meters. Ceiling works naman, it has a total area coverage of 426 square meters. Painting works total coverage is 1,026 square meters. Aluminum composition, the project would also cover signages, doors and windows. For the doors and windows, a total of 23 doors, and for the windows is 22 windows, 22 sets. 23 sets for doors, 22 for windows. Toilet partitions, concrete countertop, and accessories, a total area of 50.45 square meters. For electrical works, this would include lighting and power, conduits, fittings, wires and cables, electrical wiring devices, lighting fixtures, boxes, ACU power supply, panel boards and circuit breakers, feeders, feeder conduits and fittings, terminal accessories, voice and data system, fire detection and alarm system. For mechanical works, the sub-works are air conditioning unit and piping, ventilation equipment and exhaust duct, hangers and support. While for plumbing works, it would include this component would include site works, sewer line system, water line system, storm drainage system, septic tank, and catch basin. Also fixtures and accessories. For the powerhouse, this would include civil structural works, meron din siyang architectural works, and electrical works. And it has its sub works under that major category. Meron din palang mechanical works included doon and plumbing. For the vehicular parking area, another item, this would include excavation, embankment, the aggregate base course, Portland cement concrete pavement, which is 250 millimeter thick. The next component is the provision of concrete curbs, sidewalks, wheel stoppers, and pavement markings at VPA. So the major component niya is civil structural works, with subworks of site works, concrete works, steel works, and painting works. For the 10,000 gallon steel water tanks, the subcomponent po nito is yung civil structural works lang siya, and coverage niya is site, concrete, steel, electrical, and plumbing works. For the drainage system, consists of civil structural works and site works, and concrete works yung mga subcomponents niya. Transformer yard, civil structural works, which includes site, concrete, masonry, steelworks. And lastly is for the temporary facilities. The temporary facilities would include the provision of staff house and service vehicle. So with that, Mr. Chair, we would like to end our presentation, and we are now ready to entertain questions or points of clarifications from our prospective bidders, sir.
Hello, good afternoon.
Alright, let's proceed to the question, please. Good afternoon.
Yes po,
Right.
good afternoon. This is from Isolan Sultan Kudarat from Coffee Construction and Supply Corporation. May question lang po ako, sir. Since this is rebid, kasi nag-bid kami noon, so nag-undergo na kami noon ng site inspection. So kailangan pa ba namin mag-conduct ulit? If ever na mag-drop kami ulit dito sa sa bidding.
Mr. Chair, if I may respond, sir.
Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah. Ma'am, yung previous po ninyo na site inspection po, ma'am, tinatanggap na po namin din yun po yun. Pwede na pong hindi na po magkanda kasi rebid lang naman to. Yung previous submission nyo po na site inspection, pwede na po naming tanggapin din po yun.
Okay po. Thank you po. Another
You're welcome.
question po, sir,
Yes po, ma'am.
is nakasali po doon sa checklist ninyo yung legal clearance.
Yes po, ma'am.
So, we have already requested that legal clearance, sir. So, kailangan pa ba ulit namin mag-request for that document?
Ma'am, for legal clearance po, ma'am, kapag meron na po kayong legal clearance and valid pa naman po, kasi may validity din po yung legal clearance na ini-issue ng enforcement and legal service po namin. Kapag valid pa naman po yung legal clearance po ninyo, ma'am, pwede pa rin pong isubmit yon or tatanggapin pa rin po namin. Pero take note lang po, please be mindful lang po doon sa validity po. Baka expired na siya, kailangan yung kumuha ng panibago. Kung hindi pa naman po, baka pwede naman po. Ayun pa din po.
Okay po. Thank you po, sir.
You're welcome po, ma'am.
Sir, good afternoon po ulit.
Good afternoon. Go ahead, please.
Yan ulit, sir, sa Megay. Sir, as lang po, ang bidding natin, pwede na po ba ng face-to-face o pwede rin po ng Zoom ulit?
Hello, ma'am.
Opo. As lang po regarding sa bidding natin, pwede na po ba kami mag-face-to-face or sa Zoom pa rin po? Sabihin, presence po dyan, punta kami dyan.
Yes po. Ma'am, I'd like to answer your question niyo po through the chair. Yes po, ma'am. During the opening of bids po, allowed naman po na merong isang observer from one bidder po. From isang observer sa isang bidder po.
Okay.
Pwede pong mag-observe during sa opening of bids po. Well, yung iba po, yung kung halimbawa may mga kasamahan pa po kayo, naka-live naman po tayo sa YouTube or meron din po tayong link na pwede po nating ibigay po.
Okay po. Thank you po ulit. Thank you po.
Salamat po, ma'am.
Okay. Sir, hello po. Good afternoon. Errol po ulit from SM Castro.
Go ahead, sir.
Sir, ask ko lang po ulit yung reason for rebid lang po.
Sir, during the first bidding for this project po, wala na pong natirang mga bidders dun sa nag-pre-qualify during the bid opening and pre-bid. Yung pinost-qual po namin, na-DQ po siya during sa post-qualification. So that siya na lang yung single calculated bidder and na-DQ siya. So na-rebid po natin siya.
Okay po, salamat po.
Okay, do you have any further questions? Sige, should you have any more questions that are not raised in this meeting, you can still send it to us in writing until 10 days before the scheduled opening of the bids, and we will answer all the queries and issue the necessary bid bulletins if needed. So, for the last time, let me just ask everyone present, do you have any further questions? Okay. Hearing none, let's already close this matter. Again, maraming salamat po for attending and we look forward for the submission of your bids. And if you have questions, kindly just write to our back secretariat po. Maraming salamat. Let's already proceed with the next item na agenda. Thank you.
The next item, Mr. Chair, is for Catbalogan Airport Development Project for calendar year 2021-2022. Secretariat, uh, please
Sir,
admit other perspective before I proceed po.
there are no pending requests, sir. We have the same
Ah.
participants for this item.
Okay, thank you. Permission to proceed, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
So, the last project for the ADMS for today's pre-bid is the Catbalogan Airport Development Project CY 2021. This is for the construction of control tower building, administration building, powerhouse, transformer yard, and site development. So the funding source for this is from the GAA CY 2021, since this is a downloaded project of the DOTR. In the ABC for this is 101,130,438 pesos and 50 centavos. So, as per invitation to bid, these are the requirements for the technical personnel and for the major equipment flash in your screens right now. And should you wish to get a copy of this, the document is available online at PhilJEBS and CAAP website. So the pickup license requirement is medium A license category B. This is for building and industrial plant. And the duration of this project is 390 calendar days, inclusive of 10 rainy unworkable days. Applicable bidding fees, 56,000, inclusive of 12% VAT. For the bid data sheet, the under ITB Clause 3.0, Certificate of Site Inspection, the requirement for these requirements shall be included in the technical document submission, and it shall be signed by Mr. Norman Nunez, officer in charge of Catbalogan Airport, or his duly authorized representative. And together with this certificate, it shall also include a copy of the company ID of the person who conducted the site inspection, copy of the airport or facility visitor's logbook with an entry name of the person who conducted the site inspection, and a picture of the proposed site together with the person who conducted the site inspection and the airport representative. So this is a sample illustration. And in ITB Clause 5.2, the similar project for this for this project is building, construction, improvement, rehabilitation, repair, and the ABC is 101,130,438 pesos and 45 cents. ITB 7.1, subcontracting is not allowed. ITB Clause 10.1, bidder shall submit all the eligibility and technical documents as specified in Section 10. So we'll also show later the list of requirements. In 10.3, the pickup license requirement is medium A license category B for vertical works, building and industrial plant. ITB Clause 11.2, bids exceeding the ABC of the project shall be disqualified. So this is the minimum years of experience required for our key personnel. 5 years in general engineering, 3 years in building construction improvement, repair, and rehabilitation. So these are the major equipment requirement. In 11.2, bids exceeding the ABC of the project shall be disqualified. ITB 15.1, bid security. The bidder may choose any of the following: bid securing declaration or cashier's manager's check, bank draft guarantee, or irrevocable letter of credit, which amount should not be less than 2%, and or the security bond in the amount not less than 5% of the ABC. ITB Clause 16.0, reminder, each and every page thereof shall be initialed or signed by the duly authorized representative. Submitted eligibility, technical and financial documents shall be properly marked with index tabs and must be sequentially paginated in accurate order in the form of that is 3 of 100. Page number of the last page of the document per envelope pieces. Pagination should be sequentially based on the entire span of the whole document inside the envelope. Bids not complying with above instructions shall be disqualified. Please take note of this provision. These are the sample illustrations for tabbings, paginations, and the initials or signatures required. In ITB Clause 16.0, CAAP only requires the submission of one original technical component and one financial eligibility document. So copy 1 and copy 2 are no longer required. So all envelopes must be labeled, shall contain the contract of to be bid, the name of the bidders, address of the bidders, the address of the procuring entity, and it shall also bear the warning to not open before the date of the submission of bids. ITB Clause 19.2, partial bids. A partial bid is not allowed. Infrastructure project is packaged in single lot, and the lot shall not be divided into sublots for the purpose of bidding, evaluation, and contract award. So, just some specific provisions in the special conditions of the contract. Under 7.2, this is for the warranty. It's 15 years. And in in GCC clause number 13, it is the policy of, advance payment it's indicated that advance payment shall not exceed 15% of the total contract price. However, as per DOTR policy, CAAP will not give advance payment to contractors. So no advance payment for this particular project or in all projects of CAAP. So under GCC clause 15.2, the amount to be withheld for failing to produce as-built drawings and or operating and maintenance manuals by the date required is 2% of the contract price. So here are the items to be submitted to form part of the technical and the financial documents. So these documents or the checklist can be found in the bid documents. For the project technical details, I'll be showing the site development plan. This is the layout of the airport. So in gray is the passenger terminal building. So again, these drawings can be at our back office. They will provide you the drawings and plans for this project. Landscaping works, concrete hollow block perimeter fence, site development plan for security fence, covered pathwalk. So this is the 9-story control tower building. This is the perspective This is the ground floor plan. The side elevation for the admin building. So this is the floor plan for both ground and second floors. Transformer yard. So this is the perspective for the powerhouse, the layout or the plan for the powerhouse, elevations. So for the scope of work, here are the major scope of works: mobilization, demobilization. For SPL2 temporarily facilities, it includes staff house and the service vehicle for the project, which will be used within the uh, period of the project, which is 390 calendar days. For the admin building, civil structural works, that would include site works, pile driving works, concrete works, masonry works, and steel works. This is the architectural works for the construction of administrative building. It has indicated in your screens are the area of coverage or the total area coverage for the project for this particular scope, construction of administrative building. So, ito yung mga component niya: electrical works, mechanical works. Huwag po kayong mag-alala, lahat po ng details po dito nandun po sa bid documents po natin na downloadable po sa PhilJobs at saka sa CAAP website. For the construction of administrative buildings, sa plumbing works, these are the details. And for the admin building, it also includes furniture. For the construction of control tower building, the major work components include civil structural works, masonry works, steel works, moisture and thermal protection works. For the architectural works naman po, para sa control tower building, this would include carpentry works, ceiling finishes, wall finishes, at saka tile works. Sa architectural works niya, it would include raised wall and precast wall works, painting works, doors and windows, toilet partition, concrete countertop, and accessories. For the construction of tower building, again, sa electrical works niya, these are the subset for the electrical works. Mechanical works, plumbing works, and for the powerhouse, ito po yung details naman po. Transformer yard. This would include site works, concrete works, masonry, and steel works. On the side, on the right side, yun yung coverage or the scope area. So site development under 4.01, covered pathway, yan po yung component. And for the type 4 security fence with gate, ito din po yung components. Perimeter fence with concrete hollow block fence, type 4 security fences with gates. So for concrete curbs and VPA painting works, exterior drainage system. So that ends our presentation, Mr. Chair, and the technical working group together with the ADMS is now ready to entertain questions and clarifications, Mr. Chair. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you for that presentation. At this juncture, we open the floor for any questions from our prospective bidders. Is there any? Good afternoon. Ano po bang mga katanungan?
Ay, hello po, good afternoon. Si Errol po ulit ng SM Castro. Sorry
Go
sir,
ahead, sir.
may ask ulit po kung ano po yung reason for rebid.
For the rebid, sir, wala po siyang pumasa doon sa um, tawag ito, bid evaluation po, sir. During the bid evaluation, all the bidders who were initially rated as passed during the bid opening were declared disqualified due to non-compliance with the required materials, labors, and equipment. That is why it was declared a failure of bidding, sir. Thank you, sir.
Salamat po.
All right, do we have any further questions? Again, should you have questions that you're not able to raise here today, you can put it in writing and send it to us 10 days prior to the scheduled opening of the bids, and we will endeavor to answer all of them. For the last time, let me just ask the prospective bidders, do you have any further questions? All right, hearing none, we'll close this matter already, this pre-bid conference. Maraming salamat po for those who attended, and we look forward for the submission of your bids. Again, should you have further questions, kindly just write to us through our fact secretariat. Maraming salamat, and let's proceed please with the agenda items. Thank you.
The next item, Mr. Chair, will be presented by Engineer Joffet Vifranca of the ANS. Engineer Joffet, please.
Thank you, Attorney Frank. Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the bidders, welcome to the pre-bid conference for the supply and delivery of communications equipment for Catbalogan Airport. This is a rebid project under the bid number 21-028-10 Charlie. For our presentation for today, the discussion will be on the project duration and background, invitation to bid, the instruction to bidders with corresponding BDS, the GCC with the corresponding SCC, the checklist, and lastly, for the discussion and clarification regarding the project. For this project, this project is a downloaded project from the UTR, and it is under 2021 DOTR CAAP MOA for later release. And the scope includes the supply and delivery of IP-based 50-watt VHF AM transmitter and receiver radios, complete with the antenna system and the 8-channel voice logging system and its ancillaries. The project duration is 180 calendar days. For the invitation to bid, the CAAP through the aforementioned CAAP MOA, CAAP DOTR MOA, for the acquisition and implementation of various airport projects intends to apply the sum of 5,948,000, being the ABC to payments under the contract for the supply and delivery of communications equipment for Catbalogan Airport. The following table describes the equipment requirement for the said project. CAAP invites the bids for the above project and delivery of the goods is required within 180 calendar days. Bidders should have completed within 5 years from the date of submission and receipt of bids a similar contract to the project, and the description of an eligible bidder is contained in the bidding documents, particularly in section 2 of the instruction to bidders. Bidding will be conducted through an open competitive bidding procedure using a non-discretionary pass-fail criterion as specified in the 2016 IRR of the RA 9184. Bidding is restricted to Filipino citizens, sole proprietorship, partnerships, or organizations with at least 60% interest or outstanding capital stock belonging to citizens of the Philippines and to citizens or organizations of a country and the laws or regulations of which grant similar rights or privileges to Filipino citizens pursuant to RA 5183. Okay, so prospective bidders may obtain further information from CAAP and inspect the bidding documents at the address given during 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at back office. This is office hours. And the complete set of bidding documents may be acquired until the 14th of March at 2 p.m. from CAAP back office here at Mia Road, Pasay City. And upon payment of applicable fee for the bidding documents pursuant to the latest guidelines issued by the GPPB in the amount of 11,200, inclusive of the 12% VAT. The bidding document may be downloaded free of charge from the PhilJeps and the CAAP website, provided that bidders shall pay the applicable fee for the bidding documents not later than the submission of their bids. Bids must be duly received by the BAC Secretariat through manual submission at the office address given on or before the 14th of March at 2 p.m. Late bids shall not be accepted. All bids must be accompanied by a bid security in any of the acceptable forms and in the amount stated in ITB Clause 14. The bid opening for this project shall be on the 14th of March at 2 p.m. here at CAAP back office or via online through Google Meet, and bids will be opened in the presence of the bidders' representatives who choose to attend activity. CAAP reserves the right to reject any and all bids, declare a failure bidding, or not award the contract at any time prior to contract award in accordance with Section 35.6 and 41 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184 without thereby incurring any liability to the affected bidder or bidders. For further information, please refer to Dr. Rolly Bayaban, the overall head BAC Secretariat, at the given telephone number.
Original of the design bid prices in the below.
For the bid data sheet, on the left side of the screen is the standard instruction to bidders, and on the right side is the bid data sheet for the specifics of the project. For this project, the source of funding, as indicated also in the ITB, will be in the amount of 5,948 through the DOTR CAAP Memorandum Agreement CY 2021. For
Summary of bid proposal.
chapter or section 5 eligible bidders, specifically for 5.3, for this purpose, contracts similar to the project shall be supply and delivery of air traffic control tower communications equipment and completed within 5 years prior to the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. For subcontracts, for this project, no subcontracted portion is required. For section 10, documents are comprising the bid eligibility and technical components. For 10.1, letter A, per CAAP memorandum regarding disqualification of prospective bidders with pending case against the government in the procurement activities of the CAAP, all prospective bidders shall be required to submit the following. Letter A, number 1, a certification under oath attesting that they have no pending case or cases against the government, in addition to the eligibility requirements for bidders as prescribed under the IRR of RA 9184, and number 2, legal clearance to be issued by the CAAP enforcement and legal service with respect to the non-pendency of any cases of prospective bidders against the authority. Letter B, accomplish revised Annex A, ITB 10.1 form. For applicable items, the bidder shall indicate in the technical component on a separate sheet using the revised Annex A ITB 10.1 form, the brand type and model, version, and quantities or unit of each of the proposed equipment or subsystems and ancillaries. This document shall be signed by the bidder's authorized representative. For the information of the bidder, the revised Annex 8 ITB 10.1 form is also included in the published bidding document. The bill of quantities with corresponding price schedules in the accomplished financial bid form shall be consistent with and reference to all plans, designs, and layouts submitted in the technical proposal. On screen is the standard revised Annex 8 ITB 10.1 form to be filled out by the bidder. Still, in addition to the section 10.1, letter C, checklist requirements, bid opening requirements as specified in section 8, checklist of technical and financial requirements. Bids not complying with the above instructions shall be disqualified. For illustration, on screen is the certificate of site inspection and the company and airport logbook required for to be submitted as part of the submission, bidding technical submission of the bidder. For section 12, under bid prices, the prices of goods shall be quoted DDP at Catbalogan Airport or the applicable international commercial terms for this project. Under section 12.1 A, Roman numeral 4, incidental services for goods offered from within the Philippines include but are not limited to the following. Number 1, all expenses for the processing of permits and licenses shall be a part of the price schedule of the equipment. Number 2, provision and delivery of cables, grounding, surge protection, and other additional or auxiliary electrical adapter, signal converters, connectors, components, fixtures, interface, fittings, and mounting kits, cable management, etc. for the different equipment to meet operational and functional requirements. Prices for these incidentals shall be incorporated to the equipment listed in the BOQ of the schedule requirements to which it is primarily related. And lastly, importation licenses permits. Under also still section 12 bid prices, 12.1B, Roman numeral 2, for incidental services for goods offered from abroad include but not limited to the following. Number 1, provision and installation of cables, grounding, surge protection, and other additional or auxiliary electrical adapter, signal converters, connectors, components, fixtures, interface, fittings, cable management, etc. for the different equipment to meet operational and functional requirements. Prices for these incidentals shall be incorporated to the equipment listed in the BOQ of the schedule of requirements to which it is primarily related. Number 2, export licenses and permits. Number 3, installation, operational, maintenance, and other forms of manuals, system and circuit diagrams. For bid security, the bid security shall be in the form of a bid securing declaration or any of the following forms and amounts. Letter A, the amount of not less than 2% of the ABC if the bid security is in cash, cashier's or manager's check, bank draft or guarantee, or irrevocable letter of credit. Or letter B, the amount of not less than 5% of the ABC if the bid security is in surety bond. For sealing and marking of bids, number 1 requirement, each and every page thereof shall be initialed, signed by the duly authorized representative or representatives of the bidder. Submitted eligibility, technical and financial documents shall be properly marked with index tabs or ear tabs and must sequentially be paginated in accurate order in the form of page 3 of 100, and the page number of last page of the document shall be per envelope basis. Pagination should be sequential based on the entire span of the whole document inside the envelope. Each bidder shall submit one original copy of the first and the second components of its bid. Bids not complying with the above instructions shall be automatically disqualified. As an illustration, this is how the CAAP is expecting bidders for this document organization. This is an illustration of the table of contents, index tabs, and the pagination. For 16.1, the deadline deadline for submission of bids, specific for 16.1, bids must be duly received by the BAC Secretariat through manual submission, and the address for the submission of bids is the Back Office Civil Aviation Authority Philippines, Old Mayor Road, Pasay City, Philippines. For detailed evaluation and comparison of bids, partial bid is not allowed, and the goods are grouped in a single lot, and the lots shall not be divided into sub-lots for the purpose of bidding, evaluation, and contract award. Under post-qualification requirements, all supplier documentation necessary for the supply delivery of the project shall be signed by the PEE or Professional Electronics Engineer as mandated by the RA 9292 of the bidder or its authorized representative. The contractor shall be responsible for securing all necessary permits from respective offices that may be necessary for the supply and delivery of the equipment at site. And the cost of this acquiring such permits, including its processing, shall be borne by the contractor. For Section 21.1, the following documents shall be submitted together with the technical proposal. Number 1, the certificate of exclusive or authorized distributorship issued by the OEM of the supplied equipment. Number 2, ISO certificates or its internationally recognized equivalent of manufacturer for ISO 9001 or 14001 and product. For number 3, latest official OEM equipment technical characteristics, specification, and or sales materials reflecting all performance and functional specifications of proposed equipment. Bidders are reminded that failure to submit the listed documents shall be disqualified. For general conditions of the contract with corresponding SCC, under scope of contract, under delivery and documents, for this purpose, procuring entities representative or CAAP's representative at site is Mr. Ambrosio Madriaga with a given telephone number or any of his ANS authorized representative at Catbalogan Airport. Under incidental services, additional requirement letter F, the contractor shall warrant the entire equipment, assembly, software, and related integration works for 1 year warranty period for parts and service. Okay, so equipment listed with defects that occur within the warranty period and requiring the equipment to be shut down for repair service, the contractor or supplier shall provide and install a service equipment with equivalent performance as a temporary replacement of defective equipment in order to maintain the communication capability of the ANF. The contractor shall describe the proposed support provisions within the warranty period and shall submit an OEM issued guarantee that the availability of spare parts for the equipment supplied shall be at least 10 years after the project acceptance. The contract price for the goods shall include the prices charged by the supplier for incidental services and shall not exceed the prevailing rates charged to other parties by supplier for similar services. For advance payment and terms of payment, this is a turnkey project, and that the payment will be after issuance of the certification or project completion certification of CAAP. For inspection and tests, the inspections and tests that will be conducted are factory acceptance test report verification. The CAAP or its representative shall have the right to inspect and or test the goods to confirm their conformity to the contract specifications. Inspections to be conducted will cover but not limited to the following. Letter A, OEM validated test documents on 50-watt VHF for the transmitter and receiver radios. Letter B, verification inspection of auxiliary radio equipment tests and conformity to contract specifications for communication systems. Letter C, verification inspection of available channels and conformity to contract specifications. So for the VLS. Okay. For moving on with the checklist, the technical component envelope shall contain the legal documents listed in the checklist. Also, the technical documents and the financial documents. For the financial component envelope, only the original and duly signed and accomplished financial bid form and the duly signed accomplished price schedules are expected, and that these forms may be downloaded from the GPPB website with a given website link. That ends my presentation, Mr. Chair. The TWG and the end user is ready for any clarification or regarding the project, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Japet. Do you have any questions based on the presentation? Now is the time to raise them. Many of our prospective bidders. Meron ba tayong mga pumasok pa?
Sir, wala na. Yung same bidders na po kanina yung nag-participate.
Alright. Sige. Do you have any questions? Can you raise them now? Please, thank you. Okay. To inform everyone, if you have questions that you're not able to raise here, you can send them to our BAC secretariat in writing, and at least 10 days prior to the scheduled bid opening, and we will endeavor to answer all of them. So again, let me just ask, do you have any further questions? Alright, hearing none, let's already close this pre-bid conference. Maraming salamat po for attending, and we look forward to your submission of bids. And again, if you have any more questions, you can write to us through our back secretariat. The email is in the chat, I believe. Alright, maraming salamat po. We can already close this pre-bid conference. Thank you and good afternoon. Secretariat, can you inform me if the room is already clear? Thank you.
Thank you and good afternoon.
Sir, the list are already clear.
Alright, thank you. Do you have anything else for today's agenda?
None from the TWG, sir.
Then from the secretariat, sir.
Sige, there being... Ano ba?
But
Wala.
Mr. Chair,
Ano may bat?
one more thing. Just a reminder, Mr. Chair, we have
Yes.
opening of bids for the negotiation of the Tacloban Airport Development Project Phase 2
Kailan po?
tomorrow,
Tomorrow. Alright.
Yes, sir.
What time is it?
It's 2 p.m., sir.
Okay.
Okay po.
Sige.
Physical presence po, sir.
Physical. Sige. Okay. Anything else?
Yun lang po, sir.
Alright, there being no more items in the agenda, let's already adjourn this meeting. Maraming salamat po for everyone who attended, our members. Thank you for your time. Just kindly keep us posted of any changes in the schedule for tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hapon
Thank you,
po.
everyone. Good afternoon po.
Thank you.
Tony Frank,
Yes po.
kailan uli yung opening?
Hello. Bukas po,
Bukas, ma'am.
ma'am. Sa